Good evening, everyone. Today I will discuss to you the getting the highest number of two numbers using pointers. So first thing first, I will declare the library, and then we create our main function. And since we are dealing with two numbers, so we will create two variables here. So num1 and num2. And then we will now prompt the user to enter the values and store it to the corresponding variables. So the first number will be stored to num1, and then the second number will store to num2. So for instance, the user will store the first number of 10. So this 10 here will be stored to num1. So second, if the user inputted 12, and this 12 here will be stored in num2. So next, I will create a function in order to get the highest number of the two inputted values from the user. So we will create a function here, so display highest number, and then since we in this program we use a pointer, so instead of making a variables inside to these parameters, we are now using pointers. So in order to make a pointer, is just add asterisk and then the name of the pointer, so ptr1. So this is now a pointer, and we create a second pointer here, ptr2. So first, I want to talk about the usage of asterisk in a pointer. Actually, there are two uses of asterisk in pointers. The first one is called the declaration of pointers. So that is the first uses. And actually, what we are doing here is we are now declaring a pointer by declare it inside to this parameter in our function here. It is quite the same as we declare a pointer inside of our main function. So and ptr, that is also a declaration of pointers when we declare a pointer here. So it's really quite the same as we create a pointer inside of this parameter. So that was the first use of asterisk. The second use, we will tackle it later on. So since we are using pointers here, and when we want to grab the value on this variable here into our pointer, in order to do that, we will call the function to display, and instead of using the simple variable here, we will add the ampersand and number, num1 and ampersand num2. The ampersand here means address, and it will take the value from this variable here. So each address, what value was inputted to this variable, and when we store it here, for instance, our num1 is 10, so this 10 here will be stored in here, and it is pointer, so the first pointer here will point at the address of num1, which has the value of 10. So the value of pointer 1 here is 10 because it pointed to the address of num1. So that was the functionality of pointers. Yeah, the functionality of pointers. And now, since we are calling the function here, we will make a function so that we will get the highest number. So in order to get the highest number, so we will create a if statement, and then we'll grab the ptr1, and then we make a condition. So ptr1, pointer 1 is greater than the pointer 2, so pointer ptr2, and now we will display %d. By the way, why %d here? Because our pointer here is an integer, because the what kind of data type was pointed by this pointer, and is pointed on this one, which has a value of 10, and 10 here is an integer. So we will conclude that this pointer here is called a pointer to integer, because it pointed to an integer type of address. So that's why it is called a pointer to integer. So this is quite the same as the regular variable. So first we are still using %d. So %d in ptr1 is the highest number. And then we will now return the value of ptr1. And this was the second use of the asterisk here in our pointers. So it returns the value where the pointer is pointing at. Since the pointer 1 is pointed at the address of num1, which has a value of 10 here, so it returns the value. So, and since we are using %d here, so the value 10 here will display in this statement. So that is the second use of the asterisk in pointers. So if this condition is true, then perform this, and if it's not, or if the second number is greater than the first number, so it will display ptr2 is the highest number, and then we will return the value of ptr2. So ptr2 here is pointed at the address of num2 because of this alignment. So the first parameter here, the first is ptr1 and the second is ptr2. And this in the alignment here, so num1 is the first, so num1 is pointed to ptr2, and the second argument is num2, so num2 is pointed by the ptr2. So that's why, for instance, we inputted 12 here, so the value 12 from the num2 will be pointed by by pointers 2. So that is the functionality. We are now trying to run this program. Enter first number. So for our example here, we input or store our num1 to 10, so, and then enter second number, so 12. So 12 will be stored in our variable num2. So when we press enter, and then 12 in ptr2 is the highest number. Why this was the output? Because we all know that ptr1, pointer ptr1 was pointed to num1, which has the value of 10, and then ptr2 pointed to the address of num2, which has a value of 12. So when we visualize this condition, so pointer 1 has a value of 10 and 10 is greater than 12. Pointer 2 has the value of 12, so 10 is greater than 12 and the answer is false. So if the condition is false, this statement here will be ignored, and instead it will go to the else statement and then perform the statement here. So that's why it displays 12 in pair 2 is the highest number. We'll try to run the program again, and let's input our first numbers into 9 and the second number is 5. So 9 in pair 1 is the highest number. Why? Because Peter 1 here will point to the num1 and which has a value of 9, and then Peter 2 pointed to the address of num2 which has a number of 5. So that's why when we visualize it, so 9 is greater than 5 and this condition is true, so perform this statement here and ignore this if statement. So that's why 9 in Peter 1 is the highest number. That's why it displays it. And that is it. We are now done with our discussion for today using pointers. So I hope you understand the discussion. Thank you for watching and have a good night. Peace you.